I don't know why I'm staring at Katie when knowing we should focus on our latest installment of the Morphin Grid case studies of the featurettes for this thing that I've been doing. So let's get on with the point with our next Ranger. This is the first time I ever did a Morphin Grid case study at night, when knowing back when I did these videos and stuff, and then thinking about the setting at the time when I would do this featurette, showing off something for behind the scenes of what I was having in store for this. This is something I'd never done before, filming a video at night back when I did the original version of this, so I'm going to rebuttal whatever such and such that I said. So apparently for my Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film series, we are going to go through another Ranger of mine, since basically there were 2 Yellow Rangers in the Marsh-Verse, or make it 3 though, because that depends. And in the thing that AJ was the only Yellow Ranger of the Marsh-Verse I had, there was another Yellow Ranger male that I also had, which was only for my first Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film, but sadly did not appear for any of the sequels. Enter Thorne Campbell, who by the way is the Yellow Ranger that I have for my Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film series. Technically, there isn't hardly anything to give about him other than the fact is he was a character that I had at one point for only one of the 3 movies that I have scheduled. But even though there was going to be some things that I wanted to do to develop in terms of his character, that sadly never made it into actually what his character should be on the screen, with the whole tell, don't show kind of thing. Now, as for Thorne Campbell, he was just a character that I just made the shoehorn in filling in for AJ's slot as the Yellow Ranger, because around this point when I did this fan film and when I did pre-production on this is one of the few pre-production videos showcasing what I had in store for this movie, and so I had to reject the character of AJ, because for those who recall back in his Morphin Grid case study, I had to reject him for many reasons why, and I don't think I want to repeat that ever again here. But for Thorne, for a character that I felt would work, he was just there, basically. I mean, he wasn't that good or bad of a character, he was just there. And then using the likeness, and with the paper doll aside, showing the character, featuring the likeness of actor Kieran Culkin, who is actor and one of the brothers of the Culkin family, mostly brother of former child star and actor Macaulay Culkin. And I personally thought that, suppose if I took one of the likenesses of one of the Culkin brothers if they were a Power Ranger. Now, I decided not to use Macaulay Culkin, who we may know as Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone franchise and stuff, but I decided somebody else of the Culkin family, someone who is an active actor other than the main top tier shining star of the Culkin family, that being Macaulay himself. So I decided to go with Kieran Culkin and made him the Yellow Galaxy Ranger of Thorne Campbell of the Marsh-Verse. Because I felt that with Kieran, I thought he was probably better, because I didn't want to use someone who was a washed up former child star in some capacity, in some way. And knowing to the fact that, for one thing for sure, guys, I never was a fan of Macaulay Culkin. Sure, the movies he did when he was a child, never cared for him. Definitely movies like Getting Even with Dad and Pagemaster and Richie Rich and those movies like that. I just never really cared for those films. Never did. And I absolutely despise Macaulay Culkin with a burning passion. Even though, yeah, the actor, the former child star and actor, has never did anything to me. But it's just, the thing is, I just don't like him. Period. So with Kieran, however, I've only seen Kieran Culkin before I even fan casted him as this Marsh-Verse Yellow Galaxy Ranger, period, personally, in only 2 or 3 particular movies. And at the time of this video's recording, him being in all of season 2 of the FX series of Fargo. But there were 2 movies I said I only saw him in posthumously, that being The Cider House Rules, which was, by the way, the movie that featured Tobey Maguire and Charlize Theron and Michael Caine and stuff, and of course his performance as the gay character of Wallace in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So that's what got me to want to fan cast Karan as the Yellow Galaxy Ranger, Thorne Campbell, for the Marsh-Verse. Now, in terms of his backstory, however, Thorne, unlike Maya but as a male, replaced AJ Weems, and Thorne is the newcomer to the Galactic Military Police Defenders Unit. Now, what I originally wrote in terms of what his character was supposed to be, until I decided not to give him that much in terms of his character, Thorne is pretty shallow, 30-something-year-old who professes in technology and physical endurance. Well, now, when I originally read this off of my old Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film wiki, when I said physical endurance, well, when I stammered that for one of those who saw that video, someone had to, copy and mock what I was saying just because I sounded like a freaking so-called retard, stammering, stuttering, saying endurance. But what do I meant by endurance? By that mean? Crap. His personality is a little childlike at times when he makes mistakes. Oh, and his favorite food is junk food, such as donuts, ice cream, cookies, etc. So again, this is one of the few underdeveloped Marsh-Verse characters of my Power Rangers fanfiction series where I didn't want to make his character come off as like a, Gary Stu as opposed to yours truly here. Because I really did not want to make Thorne, like the rest of the Rangers, come off like freaking Gary Stu's and Mary Stu's. Because then otherwise, my fanfiction thing of Power Rangers would be one of the most hated things ever imaginable. Because I felt that, you see, should have been more to him than it should based on my original vision of the script for my first movie. Back when I did videos like this in 2013. Because when I did this video in 2013, I was in pressure getting ready to set up everything until as soon as when I got in the process and working on the fan film, and then while I still had haters aplenty coming by from Ranger Board and whoever random and on following my channel on YouTube at the time, I really felt that there should have been more to his character, like I said, than it should, because what was there that I should have developed for his character, knowing that the fact that his background and what his character is as a ranger was a little limited. And I felt that when I looked at Karan Culkin's performance as the character of Wallace in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, maybe I should have made Thorne as my first openly gay yellow Power Ranger. Even though as much as I said AJ, which was a character I once played, is gay, maybe Thorne should have been gay, but I decided to keep him heterosexual. And I felt that with Thorne in my first Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film, there could have been more to him in terms of his relationships with any of the other Rangers. He was just in the background filming some void for some other character. And in terms of with his last name being Campbell, he is part of the Campbell family. When I created characters like Thorne, I had to figure out how he should work in terms of relationship with friends and family, if he has any friends, any family. So in terms of that, this is where his, what I believe is his sister comes in. Miranda Campbell, who by the way is a current character that serves the Yellow Ranger slot in, starting with the last of the first Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film and all of Wrath of Trakeena. And then up to this point, whatever my third installment of my Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film series will be eventually. As for Thorne in terms of his sister Miranda Campbell, since Thorne didn't have much in terms of background or what his character was supposed to be, I felt that Miranda should have took his spot for, of the Yellow Ranger from the get-go. Now, I should have went with the samurai approach about Yellow Ranger siblings, Yellow Ranger siblings of who should have been the Yellow Ranger first until later, someone would eventually be the official Yellow Ranger for the team. Where it's kind of like in Samurai with Emily when her sister was supposed to be the Yellow Samurai Ranger, but then she fell ill, and that's why Emily took over, to take over her sister's spot. But that's pretty much what I did there between Thorne and Miranda. But Thorne wasn't, the difference between Samurai's Yellow Ranger in terms of siblings or who was going to be the original and such. But Thorne, on the other hand, was the Yellow Ranger for a while, but then how I wrote him out of the film was questionable. And as I did not explain how the heck did Miranda become the Yellow Ranger near the end of the first movie, but I'll discuss a little bit of that if I have time eventually. For Miranda, however, I felt that with Miranda, she should have been the Yellow Ranger from the get-go when I started this stuff. And I think that, like her brother, that being Thorne, Miranda is a normal human woman in her 30s who has joined Terra Venture's GSA patrol team. She is the shy, quiet, and optimistic person, pretty much. In other words, the heart of the team. Unlike her inspired actual Ranger counterpart, Maya is not a native from the planet Mirinoi. Let's talk about Maya. You see, the difference between my female Yellow Galaxy Ranger that is not from Mirinoi, like the eponymous Yellow Ranger right in front of you, played by yours truly, Serena Vincent from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I just discussed this about I can't even talk tonight, can I? You see, the thing is with Maya, she just bugs me, basically. I get that she's a fan favorite character, that, despite her, her background, her character, her personality, what she's really about, I just couldn't even get into Maya, period. I mean, I get that, she's from Mirinoi, she was BFFs with Kendricks, later Corone. She had somewhat of a relationship with Leo in terms of romantic relationships, if it was even barely even one, if you can put it that. And I just think that, I just really did not want to do a Yellow Galaxy Ranger for this reboot of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that was like Serena's character of Maya, because I get that Maya is one of the most popular fan favorite Rangers from Lost Galaxy, one of the most popular female Power Rangers in the fan base. But I just never really cared for the character of Maya. Now, about Maya herself, prior to the events that took place in Quasar Quest, Maya led a peaceful life on the planet of Mirinoi, such and such. Like many others in the village, including her childhood friend Chandra, grew up listening to the wise man Jera retell the legend of the Quasar Sabers placed in the stone after 3,000 years. As a child, Maya attempted to pull the pink Quasar Saber from the stone to no avail. So apparently, okay, now when I heard about that excerpt from Ranger Wiki and stuff about Maya, now I just thought about this. What if back in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, what if Maya, based on that little excerpt like that from the Ranger Wiki about when she was a child, when she and Chandra were going to pull out the Quasar Sabers, where Chandra will pull out the yellow one and Maya was to pull the pink one. Can you imagine if Maya should have been the original Pink Galaxy Ranger? She chose the yellow saber when later on as an adult when Furio was attacking Mirinoi, but I definitely would have loved it if she was the Pink Ranger instead of yellow, because I personally think that yellow was just not her best suit. But I can understand whatever. It's Saban's Power Rangers. I did not create the show, so what do I know? In the present day of 99, the planet was attacked by Furio, Scorpius' general, in an attempt to gain possession of the Sabers. Whereas the adult Maya fled from her village with the rest of her people pursued by Stingwingers, she was eventually chased through a portal that led her to the Practice Moon, where she encountered Kai, Kendricks, Leo, and Mike, who are citizens of Terra Venture. Stingwingers emerged from the portal and the four attacked. Then she informed them that Scorpius wanted the Quasar Sabers. They go into the portal sans Leo, but Damon was there to help them out. They got the Sabers. She became the Yellow Lost Galaxy Ranger. Her Galacta Beast is the Wolf. She also has for arsenal and weapons, Quasar Launcher, Trans Dagger, Lights of Orion Armor, Jet Jammer, etc. Well, actually, those are the only few things she had. In her battle with the other Rangers, defend, Terra Venture against Scorpius and Trakina's army. Once the journey was over, then, however, she did come back in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue a year later with the other Galaxy Rangers, such as such, face off Trakina for the final time, and that was the end of Maya. But as for Miranda, though, now, in terms of my Yellow Ranger, I guess I have plans on what I think I should do in terms of changing her colored stance as a Ranger, either yellow, the pink, or whatever, keep her yellow for the entire trilogy. That Miranda's original name, okay, now this is going to be a little bit something that you may not know about my fanfic characters, OC characters of Power Rangers. for my reimagining of Lost Galaxy, that Miranda's original name, according to her original character documents from my original fan series era of the Marsh-Verse, was originally going to be called, her name was originally going to be called Cowie O'Hara, which would have made her as the sister to a Pink Ranger that I once had in my fan series, Wendy O'Hara, but sadly nothing fell through. But I could have made, my OC character of Miranda Campbell be the sister to Wendy O'Hara if her last name was O'Hara instead of Campbell, but I decided to go with Campbell instead. Miranda is one of the original characters from my original fan series era of Power Rangers to be reintroduced into the Marsh-Verse, in spite of the fact that the character was used in my series was in 2003. Now, that was back in the time when I was doing fan comics, long ago, before I did any of whatever I'm doing now of Power Rangers. In an earlier incarnation of the Marsh-Verse, Miranda was listed as a Pink Ranger according to the original fan comics that I did back when I was very young. And, of course, which I did around the same time when Power Rangers Time Force aired, that I had her stay as a Yellow Ranger until 2002. I made her the Pink Ranger. But as for Thorne, though, there was just so much lack of information about him. If I knew, there should be left to be desired. Now, when the fan film reboot of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that I said I was going to do that was announced, that I stated that AJ, a character that I portrayed, would be dropped, and therefore I decided to replace AJ with Thorne to see if Thorne works better than AJ, whereas I don't want to make Thorne come off being like what my character of AJ was when I came off playing him, my self-insert character of my own, and I felt that with his character, Thorne, I felt that his character should be one of those quiet type characters, who is, don't want to talk much, don't want to socialize much, but despite his childish mannerisms, if you could put it that's how I would have put it from there, if you can put it that. Now, I did wanted to make his character come off, like an homage to a few male Yellow Rangers from, the Prime Power Rangers continuity. I wanted to base the character of Thorne off of two male Yellow Rangers in particular, Dustin from Ninja Storm and Chip from Mystic Force. Now, I was trying to decide whether if I wanted to make him more like Dustin's character from Ninja Storm or make him like Chip from Mystic Force, or what I could do is combine the two male Yellow Rangers from Ninja Storm and Mystic Force and clash the two things together. But I decided I have to come up with my own characters. I can't recreate characters that were, existing in Prime Power Rangers continuity. So there's just not much I could do about Thorne, but even though there should have been more, that should be the leave for the void. As for the actors outside of in terms of who the characters are, now Miranda, who is Thorne's sister, the Yellow Ranger, however, now Miranda, I went on when I did these fan films, I went on to have two actresses, sorry. Okay. Now, my original actress for my first Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film for the character of Miranda Campbell, I originally was going to go with, believe it or not, Rooney Mara for the role of my OC Yellow Ranger in terms of the likeness of her character. But even though I thought Rooney Mara wouldn't be that attractive for the role, because you see, now Miranda, I was trying to see whether I wanted to make her a pretty face, feminine female ranger, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted her to be like that, precise. Because Rooney Mara, I've seen her in only like 2 or 3 movies, especially the god-awful Nightmare on Elm Street remake that came out 8 years ago. But I decided, I don't think Rooney Mara could be a good choice for my Yellow Ranger. I felt that she looked at Rooney Mara is an okay actress, but I could have found someone way better. So that's why I decided came Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, The Wrath of Trakina, and beyond, for the Marsh-Verse, the likeness to my OC character of Miranda Campbell is now based in the likeness of actress Bridget Regan, who, by the way, has been in numerous TV shows, especially her most famous TV role in the TV series Legend of the Seeker. In TV shows like White Collar, and of course Marvel's Agent Carter, and of course playing that lesbian dyke character in Jane the Virgin. on the CW. But yeah, that was the intention, because you see, I felt that Rooney Mara wasn't working out, so I figured Bridget Regan would be it. Because actually, when I look at Bridget Regan, she's actually far more attractive than Rooney Mara when I thought about these fan casting choices. Because when you look at Bridget Regan, she is one of the most prettiest actresses of this generation that I have to say. I have seen some of Regan's work, such as Legend of the Seeker. I have never went around even at the time of this video, since I didn't mention her, the character in the original video when discussing Thorne, that she was playing in also The Last Ship as Sasha. What's her name? Yeah, I never watched that show neither. But she's definitely one of the best looking actresses I've seen in this generation. And at one point back when I was doing Power Rangers Lost Galaxy the Rise of Shrekina, when I was doing other projects that I wanted to do once I finished that film, but sadly never did. Now, I did at one point wanted to fan cast when I was doing after I was going to do, if I were to ever do Power Rangers Lost Galaxy the Rise of Shrekina and get that completed within what was supposed to be its original 4-month production period, in 2010, from September to December, I did at one point in November, when I was thinking about doing fan films, fan castings, or whatever of other franchises, I did at one point fan casted Bridget Regan when she was 28, 29 at the time, in 2010, 2011-ish. I did at one point fan casted Regan when I wanted to, for a Spider-Man fan cast her as Mary Jane Watson, because Regan, most images of Bridget Regan and her appearances, I've seen her with mostly red hair, so I figured, well, if ever, she could have been Mary Jane. Or heck, if I were to do a DC Comics type of film, I would have fan casted Regan as Poison Ivy, because Poison Ivy has red hair. And of course, many people have fan casted her for the character of Wonder Woman, one of my favorite DC female superheroes of all time. But I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Now, as for Miranda's appearances in the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film series, Wrath of Shrekina upcoming notwithstanding, she does take over Thorne's Espad's Yellow Ranger for this installment. I'm not telling you what is likely going to happen, because even if the word spells out once when this video is up, I'm definitely going to likely say that, spoilers, that when I do Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 3, I am definitely going to have a major shakeup with Miranda's character to make her the Pink Ranger. Because thinking back to all those old, thinking back to some old production, character documents about Maya, about, and based on what the character was supposed to be, based on what she did as a child in the Memories of Mirinoi episode of the TV show, that Maya should have been the Pink Ranger from the get-go. So I figured, I'm going to make my OC Yellow Ranger, what was my OC female Yellow Ranger, be the next Pink Ranger once someone doesn't fill the slot anymore. I'll just make Miranda the Pink Ranger now, and then whoever is the Yellow Ranger again. And Thorne is likely written out of the series at this point, so I guess it's just either here or there. But I wanted to keep Thorne in the series a little longer. Now, the reason why I dropped this character after the end of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 1, or Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2014, if you will, I just felt that, now, Karan Culkin is a great actor, and I thought using his likeness was fine for a while. But then I knew that when I had still the same old trolls and haters when someone saw my progress on this fan film, back when people said that my fan film was destined to fail, according to one troll that, in particular in the comment section of my Magnum Defender case study, which I will discuss next time, saying that my fan film is destined to fail because if it's not like Power Rangers Lost Galaxy from how I remember it, then, or how they remember it, then that means it's like, yeah, I pretty much screwed up the source material doing a reboot. Because, in this day and age of reboots, if something doesn't look nothing in fidelity with the source material that you're basing your movie on, then why even bother trying to do it anyway? Yeah, I understand that the Yellow Ranger was always a Caucasian white woman with brunette or black hair, But I just didn't want to do, like, okay, suppose if I did make Bridget Regan Maya, instead of calling her Miranda Campbell in my Marsh-Verse, because again, like I said back in the Tony Marshall and Will James videos, if the character names were Leo and his team from Prime Power Rangers continuity, and if I fan casted Bridget Regan to be Maya, then that's fine, or have her fan cast as Kendricks if she had blonde hair. But it really doesn't matter. Hell, suppose if I had Bridget Regan as Kendricks and Rooney Mara as Maya, then that's fine, because maybe that should have been a little accurate. And heck, and if I wanted to do Kai Chen, get an Asian actor like, I don't know, Daniel Day Kim or whoever, and have him as Kai Chen. Or John Cho from the Star Trek reboots and Harold and Kumar films, and have him as Kai Chen. Oh yeah, at one point when I did those fake, phony, hoax articles on my personal Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film wiki sites, I did fan casted John Cho if he was Kai Chen, and then later Lee Bruhung, who I know as Storm Shadow in the initial live action G.I. Joe movies, if he was Kai Chen. Yeah, so there was a lot of information I need to spill out on these videos, especially if these are reduxes. So, in final thoughts, the Campbell siblings of Miranda and Thorne, per se, yeah, Thorne had little to no development, but I try to make Miranda more interesting than her brother of a Yellow Ranger or so, because it's just, maybe it's the fact that I just been gushing over Bridget Regan's likeness, even when I started doing puppets of this character, and, you know, with the, you know, likeness of actress aside, but it's just, wow. Yeah, but next time, guys, when I come back for my Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film series for more Morphin Grid case study Redux archives, I will discuss, of course, the best fan favorite 6th Ranger of them all, and one of the best characters Lost Galaxy had to offer, as I discuss next time, the Magna Defender.